Has the girls' behaviour changed as a result?
Definitely. Shane had them. He was very strict and very disciplined with the girls, and I find that a little bit hard to cope with myself and the hours that I do. Shane was primarily home with them in the morning before they went to school, and in the afternoon he'd come home from work, meet them when they got home from school. The girls and him would make dinner, and then I'd come home and he'd go back to work, because most of the drivers come in late at night. He'd want to touch base with the drivers and have a chat to them and see how the day went with them.
So he's obviously thrown an enormous amount of time and investment into his business.
Yeah, his business is really growing, and even though he's over in New Zealand at the moment, we're still trying our best. You know, we've got people that we feel responsible for, the drivers. They've got families, they've got mortgages and things like that. So we're just trying to keep it on track and keeping them positive and business as usual as much as it can be.
We know Shane's heritage is New Zealand based, but for all intents and purposes, he's an Australian taxpayer.
He is.
And that's another disappointing fact, that he can't stay with his wife and kids and 3 sons.
That's what makes it really hard, because we sort of think, worst case scenario, we might have to move over there. The girls don't want to leave Australia, and they shouldn't have to. They're born here, this is their country, this is where they've spent most of their life. And the possibility of having to move over there is what really scares me, because, you know, I've got my eldest son, he's doing an apprenticeship.
In Australia?
Yeah, in Australia. So it means me leaving 4 of our children, Shane's 3 sons and my son, in Australia.
Yeah.
And I know as soon as the girls turn of age, they're going to want to return. You know, they're not going to want to, they're not going to want to come to New Zealand. And then how do I choose between my husband or my kids?
Yeah.
You know, it's just really, really difficult.
Speaking of the 3 boys, Tyson is overseas in Europe.
Yeah, he's in Spain.
But the other 2 boys are, Dustin's football speaks for itself, but he's doing it okay, is he?
Dustin's doing okay, yeah. He's really, I think this year he's really excelling. He's doing really, really well, and I think part of that is not only because of his dedication to football, but also because he wants to make his dad proud. You know, his dad's not here, and he just wants to do the best, that he can,
and
for his dad, pretty much.
How is Bronson?
Bronson's probably, out of all the kids, he's probably finding it the hardest. Bronson, as you know, we've said before, he's in the army. He's finding it really, really hard. He brings me, a couple of times a week, and I speak to him a lot, but he's really, really finding it tough. Yeah.
Look, it's shocking to have 5 kids have their father taken away from them.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a message for the Immigration Minister Peter Dutton?
I suppose my message would be, I realise Peter Dutton is looking at the bigger picture, and the best, what's the best interest of the country, and there are so many people that probably deserve to be deported. They've been to jail, they've committed, some serious crimes, but Shane's never committed any crimes. He's never been in jail, and in this particular case, they've definitely, got it wrong.
Yeah, and it's based on, I suppose, lack of evidence.
Lack of evidence or no evidence. Being pastly, in the past, being associated with a bike club, that's his crime, to be taken away from your life, taken away from your family. And I can't see what was so horrendous about that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I can't see that he's done anything wrong in order to be deported, and they haven't actually got anything, hard evidence or anything like that to actually, to say he's done something wrong, other than the fact that he was associated with a bike club.
Yeah, as you know,
his only crime.
Yeah, as you know, Dustin is probably one of the favourites for the Brownlow, which is obviously the highest coveted award for a single person in the AFL.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't Shane love to be here to see him?
Of course he would. Of course he would. And I know Dustin would be honoured if he was to win the award, but at the end of the day, it would probably be, I know for a fact, it'd mean more to him to have his father home.
Yeah.
Or by his side, when he is, at the Brownlow event. But ultimately, I can tell you now, if Dustin was to have the choice of receiving a Brownlow or having his dad home, I know what he'd be you know, what he'd choose in a heartbeat.
Is there anything else you guys can do to overturn the decision?
I don't know. I just have faith that that I suppose justice will prevail, and I just hope that